What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic Sports Network, and the latest edition of I Told You Fuckers So. I told you guys Seth Rollins is not hurt, or at least he was minorly hurt. And I had so many people telling me, Mike, you're stupid. He's not cashing in. He's hurt. He's not cashing in. And then, hey, I was wrong on this perspective. I thought that Seth Rollins was going to show up before the end of that main event and ultimately not let CM Punk win the world title. He did let him win the world title. And then music hits. All of New York, you could probably hear MetLife Stadium. They were going fucking ape shit when Seth's music hit. He comes out, thinks that he's just hurt, saying, hey, we got a little mind games, tosses the crutches aside in what is going to be an iconic visual in WWE history and one of the great works in modern professional wrestling history. Has been a success for 3 weeks. All you people were fucking worked out of your minds. He went on media. Becky Lynch was in on it. Every seeming person. And, maybe LA Knight was in on this too. We don't know what happened in terms of the details of how this came together. And who knows, maybe they'll do something and talk about what happened in the nature of this work for the next WWE Unreal. The bottom line is, this was fucking brilliant. From point A to point B, this was absolutely a fucking masterclass. From media perspective to Paul Heyman planting the seeds in everybody's mind that this could possibly be a work. People were ahead of it. A lot of the great content creators were like, wait a second, something is not right. Seth Rollins, there's too much mystery around this. And especially once Punk was in the world championship match at SummerSlam and it was announced to be the main event, which certified it, in my opinion, that this was going to be the way that it did. But then when Punk won, I was like, okay, maybe it doesn't happen. Burn It Down hits, and then all this stuff happens. He comes out in street clothes. It's, like I said, it's a great cash-in. I don't think it's going to top. Listen, they had to do something, and I've said this from jump. That, and I got worked initially when it happened. A lot of us thought, okay, this was odd. But then after, the more the days went by, I was like, okay, this is interesting. But they had to do something to at least be comparable to the heist of the century, which was, we're just past the 10-year anniversary of it. So they had to do something that was certainly out there and was going to make something like a big deal for Seth Rollins, because he's already got the greatest cash in known to man. And Naomi did a pretty damn good job with her cash in at Evolution a few weeks ago. So they had to do something big here. So the Rollins injury threw it off our track, and we were like, okay, Seth can't do a conventional cash-in. His mortal enemy wins in the main event of the first night of a two-night SummerSlam. First time he's been on top in 12 years, and he screws him over. I thought, listen, I'm wrong on one perspective, that I thought that this would turn into a triple threat, much like the first cash-in. But he let him win. He let him hold it for 5 minutes. So in a lot of ways, what's really interesting about this situation is, and I was talking to a buddy of mine about this really weaves the situations, because really, Seth Rollins has been integral in the only 2 WrestleMania cash-ins known, which was 31, Heist of the Century, and 40, Damian Priest, when he won, or when he lost to Drew McIntyre, and then CM Punk paved the way and, left the door open for Damian Priest to cash in and win the brief and win the world championship there. So, and ironically, this is now the second time that CM Punk has been cashed in on at SummerSlam. 2011 with Alberto Del Rio. Don't mention that name, because that guy's a scumbag, and there's some misinformation about his future career in WWE, as he's seemingly been off the face of the earth with AAA. But they needed to do something big to make the Seth Rollins and justify him winning that briefcase. And I think they absolutely knocked it out of the park. The match between CM Punk and Gunther was freaking outstanding. Bell to bell, these two beat the living crap out of each other. Punk made his comeback. He had the table spot where Gunther, I think, applied some fake blood, whatever it was, it added to the match. And at the end of the day, we have got to give a ton of credit to Seth Rollins for what my sister is dubbing, and I give her credit for this, an Emmy-level performance from Seth freaking Rollins, Colby Lopez. We need to give him credit. Becky Lynch deserves credit for being in on this. And the way that listen, some wrestling insiders also, we got to give shout outs to them. Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer, who I think is a hack, but still, they were on this. John Pollock said, hey, look out for an injury angle. People told us, and then once this information got out, we were looking at it, and you started looking at what we saw, and we're like, wait a minute, this is strange. And then the way that they portrayed it for 3 weeks leading into SummerSlam, it's like, okay, is Seth really hurt? And going into this, I was like, it just made way too much sense. I said, coming off of what happened leading into the go-home week, I was like, nothing deviated off of my opinion that Seth Rollins was going to show up during that main event or after the main event. I thought during would make more sense just because of the whole story that we're trying to tell with Punk not being able to win the world title. But taking it away from him does feel like a very meaningful and powerful image, and now feeds into the story for basically what is going to be the chase for CM Punk. And I was asked by a couple people about this, who's in on this. I do believe that when you do an elaborate work like this, some people are going to have to be in the know on this. I don't know if LA Knight was in on it. I don't know if that was what happened, but hey, he got a win out of it. So you would like to think that he won knowing the fact that Seth was going to be off in doing this type of stuff. It obviously sucks because people thought he was going to be involved in that tag match with instead of the Roman Reigns spot, and then Roman was going to face Seth Rollins. So that's a part of this that we need to discuss about. But I do think CM Punk was in on this. Considering if you guys watched Unreal in the Elimination Chamber, Punk and Rollins are on good terms. They understand it's business. And Punk is just a genius at what, the story has built with in his career. And clearly what they're setting up for is to heighten this Punk Rollins, feud that's been going on, because now Punk has lost his wise man or his best friend to Seth Rollins. He's now lost the world championship to him. So now you can tell a story leading to probably Punk winning the Royal Rumble. Right now, as of August 2nd, when I record this, I think CM Punk is right now the favorite in my eyes to win the Royal Rumble. It sucks that it's got to be in Saudi Arabia, but hey, a Royal Rumble win is a Royal Rumble win, in my opinion. So, but this is just a fucking work of art. It's not the best cash in of all time, but it's damn near one of the best, because the execution of it, the way that they played this work off, you do not see elaborate works like this. Granted, yes, 3 weeks, but you don't see works like this and basically, it go to this degree to where, hey, they execute it like this. And to every single one of you people who fucking told me that I am full of shit, that I don't know what I'm talking about, up yours. Up yours. Like, listen, I know what I see. I've watched enough professional wrestling in my life to understand what the fuck happens in these type of situations. And something was not right with this injury. When I saw it initially, I was like, oh, okay. But then the more information that came out and the more that I looked at it and then the way that they portrayed it on television, I was like, guys, he's not hurt. Maybe he needed to get a minor thing going on, but great usage of the Rich Eisen appearance. Maybe that was by no accident that he was in on that. And, hey, they got to the Rich Eisen show and they utilized that. Maybe Rich Eisen and those people didn't know, but they don't really need to know, because the more people that know, the more likely it's going to get out. But give credit where credit is due, man. Some people in this industry got fucking worked. And it's very rare that you see that happen in this industry at this stage where, stuff gets out. So, so a great end to what was an okay first night of SummerSlam. 3 matches on this show really, in my eyes, delivered. Charlotte and Alexa winning the championships was a good moment. Tiffany and Jade had a better match than I expected. Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn, sure, it was fine, but it wasn't the most amazing match. It felt like a Raw match. This is about what I expected from SummerSlam Saturday. And they needed a big moment to tie in and end this thing and make it a big deal. And they got it. Seth Rollins wins the World Heavyweight Championship. He's the World Heavyweight Champion coming out of SummerSlam. And now you've got a compelling story to tell with CM Punk chasing the world title. So we'll see where this goes. Obviously, Sami Zayn is going to potentially be in the midst of this. He could be a dark horse contender to win the Royal Rumble. Obviously, Saudi Arabia, that's a big important thing. So it would be easy to lay it out for him potentially. But, what a great night. And yes, I'm saying all of this and all this brilliance in wearing a CM Punk shirt. So again, when I say stuff on this channel, don't act like I'm a fucking idiot all the time. I know when I'm right. So yes, I'm going to take a victory lap on this because, again, a lot of you just absolutely just wanted to tell me that I was wrong, tell me that I was an idiot, tell me that there was no way that this was happening. And it literally happens almost exactly the way that I told you it was going to happen. So y'all got worked. Anyway, we'll have more coming here from SummerSlam this weekend. Thanks to everybody who was a part of the first watch along. I think we're going to do one on Sunday as well. And we'll see how it goes. Now no cash in, and now you're going to have Cena and Cody in the main event. How are they going to top this, the end of this night, going into night 2? I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.